Hi friends! Today we're diving heavily into Westman Atelier, Gucci Westman's makeup line. Sorry, I have a couple of other things in the bag. I didn't buy all the products, but I bought the ones that intrigued me the most, specifically the foundation sticks, the highlighters, the all over type of a highlighter. We'll get into the product details, swatches, and demos, but if it's your first time here, hi, I'm Alicia. Thank you so much for clicking on my video. And if you are returning, well, thank you for visiting me again. Kinky Sweat stands for my kinky hair and sweat life. I'm a fitness professional who loves things, all movement and beauty. If you want to check out what I do in between the makeups, you can head over to my Instagram. Oh, Alicia from the future, timestamps will be down below if you wish to skip over to whatever portion. When it was announced that Westman Atelier would be sold at Sephora, I was like, okay, maybe I could dive in. This is the first time I am reviewing Westman Atelier. It dropped officially June 11th, 2019. I'm looking at a Vogue article here. Net-a-Porter has just dropped Westman Atelier by celebrity makeup artist Gucci Westman. If you don't know who Gucci is, she is an editorial makeup artist for over 20 years. If you want to find out more details, the website has a bio where it outlines all the publications she's worked for, all the celebrities she's done. And of course, Gucci has a bunch of mini tutorials on her IG as well as on her YouTube, but far more on her Instagram. And I remember watching one, and what struck me most was the fact that she felt that the luxury beauty space still didn't have a clean beauty line that was totally clean to her, ensuring that the ingredients that were used in these formulations were safe, that it was all transparency and authentic. It says here, we believe in clean beauty. That means luxurious, effortlessly beautiful makeup formulated with clean ingredients and no compromises integrity, balancing perfect shades and buttery textures that melt into the skin with plant-based actives and cutting-edge science, a passionate commitment to researching and reassessing our ingredients as new information comes to light. Now, I've shared my thoughts about clean beauty. I appreciate the cause and the efforts in making sure that the consumer feels safe with the products that they're using. Perhaps they are allergic to silicones and parabens and other ingredients that are deemed evil. And I'll segue into why I'm not crazy about the clean beauty narrative, that it heavily relies on a fear-based one. Instead of saying that jojoba oil does this and this and this, it has to say parabens are dangerous, they could kill you, so use the plant oils instead. I'm not too crazy about that, but I do understand marketing, and people are just more compelled to buy something if they feel like it's safer, if they feel it's not going to cause autoimmune disease and chronic illness. I'm more concerned with what I'm eating and the quality of my food versus what I'm putting on my skin, an organ that is designed to protect us, but whatever, I don't know anything. And probably why Westman Atelier products are so expensive, not only because of the packaging. It says here that the ingredients are thoughtfully curated by Gucci in the lab alongside the very best chemists, probably more green leaning, to create skin nourishing clean makeup that uses potent actives at clinically proven efficacy levels and performs at the highest possible standard. These chemists are expensive, friends, and probably why it contributes to such a higher price. Again, in addition to the packaging, which we'll take a closer look at. I didn't know much about Gucci Westman as a makeup artist until she released her line. And then, of course, when I saw all her tutorials and saw her previous work, I understood the intentions behind Westman Atelier. And Atelier, I'm trying to pronounce it the French way, I know it's terrible, forgive me, means workshop. So the line is literally Gucci's workshop for makeup, what her vision is, what she wishes to deliver, plant actives that are effective and not just there. Why don't we start off with the product that I think fully encompasses what Gucci wants to achieve in skin. The Vital Skin Foundation Stick. This retails for $68. We're looking at 9 grams of product, or 0.31 ounces, 18 months suggested shelf life, and just to spare all of you, all these products are made in Italy. Of course, vegan and cruelty free, if I didn't mention that before. The foundation stick comes in 18 shades, not the most extensive, but I do believe the shades included are really nice in terms of the undertone, so hopefully we could see an expansion from Westman Atelier soon. Luxurious cream foundation rich in antioxidants and formulated with active ingredients to combat redness, calm irritation, even out complexion, and boost moisture. Now you see here I applied it on my face directly, which perhaps is not the ideal method, as I am fully aware that Gucci uses very little makeup. She actually likes to take it from the Vital Skin foundation stick onto the complexion, or she also suggested that you just slap it on your face like I did here. But I wanted you to see the color, which is number 9, I believe. I think my shade is sold out on the Westman Atelier website. I bought all these products from Sephora. I believe the drop happened maybe like 2 weeks ago. Here it is. I have Atelier number 9, beige tan, neutral undertone. And I thought it was a pretty good match. I was very happy with it. Every time I applied it in different light, as you see here, I'm at Bay's house. It's a little more yellow, but I wanted to still apply it so you could take a better look at the texture. It is emollient given the fact that it includes plant oils. Let's see here. It has the triglyceride, isonol, noate, isodecyl, neopentanoate. And then you have the squalene, you have the camellia seed oil, the coconut oil. Now, the plant actives are not listed in the top 5, but Gucci says that they're doing something. I don't know. The coverage is medium. The finish is natural, which I think is pretty accurate. I do find the finish of the foundation to dry down more natural than satin or even soft matte. I am right now normal to dry, maybe dare I say leaning more dry. The temperature here in New York has been outrageously bizarre. Today's 43 and tomorrow is going to be like 25. Yeah, this is what we're dealing with, and my skin will therefore react to that ebb and flow. So it might be drier more days than others, but the days that I apply this foundation, I did find that the texture wasn't too over emollient. And I have a couple of snapshots here taking a look at that foundation maybe after perhaps 7 to 8 hours of wear. I did wear a mask a couple of times during that time frame, but I was actually okay with the wear. I wasn't expecting it to be ironclad like a Danessa Myricks Vision Cream Cover moment, or even the Shiseido Radiant Lifting. I was going to expect wear, but I appreciate how it wear down. It didn't look patchy, it didn't look uneven, but it did look a little dry around my jaw area because that's where I have my PIH, where it's still healing. So that skin is significantly drier than on other portions of my face, and that was to be expected. There is no fragrance, which I wholeheartedly appreciate, because that to me is, we want to talk about clean ingredients, don't put fragrance in your stuff, okay? The packaging is absolutely gorgeous. It's this soft matte, light pink, have it match my earrings. But it's inside that I think you could better recognize the attention to detail. You have Westman Atelier here etched on the inside of the cap, and then you have this mirrored gold and with the dial up. So the product itself is absolutely gorgeous, and as I mentioned before, in combination to the grade of ingredients, to the chemist who had to put these ingredients together, to the packaging, it makes sense. Oh, being made in Italy, again, makes sense that this is $68. Is it worth it? Well, we'll get to that after this review. Next up, we have the contour stick, and I purchased both biscuit and truffle. The Face Trace contour stick weighs in at 0.21 ounces of product, or 6 grams. Also a suggested shelf life of 18 months. The biscuit color is described to be as a cool beige coffee, and truffle a rich mocha. I do think they definitely need one more shade. Rich mocha looks deep on me, but it blends out quite easily. Same thing as biscuit, as you saw before, has more of a cooler undertone, which I can get away with. I think this will probably be my truer contour shade in the sense that it creates a shadow and not so much a bronzing effect like truffle does. It's very easy to apply. The consistency basically melts into your skin, and I feel it a foolproof product for anyone who thought that cream contours or what have you were very difficult to apply. The contour stick has kaolin in the first 5, right after the caprylic capric triglyceride ingredient. It still says it finishes down natural, which I agree with, but probably a little more not as emollient as the Vital Skin foundation. I do think they probably need Well, I would say one more shade between Biscuit and Truffle, at least two more shades after Truffle. I understand they're not a huge brand and they're not going to put out, you know, all these shades, but both Biscuit and Truffle blended out effortlessly on me, but you saw that it's not a lot of pigment left behind, which means that if you're maybe 2-3 shades deeper than me, I don't know if Truffle gonna work. Next is the Baby Cheeks Blush Stick, retails for $48, and I have the shade Dou Dou, which is described to be a warm rose. Currently out of stock on Sephora. Well, look at that. I got a popular one. 0.21 ounces of product or 6 grams. Also suggested shelf life of 18 months. Let's take a look at the ingredient profile here. Same medium coverage, natural finish in a stick form. Also has kaolin, so it looks like to be very similar to the contour stick in terms of formulation. I always go for the rose shades because I think it's the most universal. There are a total of 6 blush shades, which I think a little more extensive and diverse than the contour stick offering, whereas there's only 2. I believe that a wide variety of skin tones can benefit at least from the Baby Cheeks blush stick offering. This beautiful shade, Bichette the Red Berry, looks gorgeous, as well as the other peachier shades. Will I buy another one? I just bought like the 3 new shades for the Tower 28, so probably not. And in the demo, I used I believe it's called the Baby Blender. I can't believe I bought the brush, I know. I was intrigued because these brushes are made in Japan, so they are Frenzzz all the way. I assumed, however, because they are made of synthetic fibers, that possibly similar to the Tom Ford brushes, since those are also made in Japan, I think. The Baby Blender brush retails for $64. I like it. I used it in the foundation demo to apply a little more on spots that I needed coverage on. And I thought it's still an appropriate size to blend out the baby cheeks with, which is actually suggested that you use it with here on the product page. I think great also for the under eye. Is very soft. It blends out the product successfully. I don't have a problem with the brush. It's super expensive and, it's made in Japan. And know that not all synthetic fibers are equal. They are different grades of them. So I only assume because of the higher price point for these brushes that Gucci definitely used a more higher grade synthetic fiber. Again, much like what I think is used in the Tom Ford brushes, maybe even the Koyuro brushes. But those I don't think are as expensive as these. And here's a close-up of how everything is looking so far. I did not powder the foundation or the contour stick or the blush here. I think they all wear well on the skin. Everything is blended. It looks smooth. It still looks like my skin, which I think is something Gucci wished to achieve with her formulations, to not make it look cosmetic and artificial, still like your skin with the boost, I think she said. Now going in to the highlighter stick. These I really like and appreciate the fact that there's different packaging to distinguish the different shades. The lit up highlight stick retails for $48. 0.17 ounces of product or 5 grams, so less than the blush, foundation, and contour stick, I believe. 18 months suggested shelf life. Here we have 3 shades. Lit, which is the glassy iridescent shade, distinguished by its all black packaging, and it's more of an opalescent type of a feel. Next up you have Nectar, a glassy golden peach, distinguishable by its gold mirrored cap. And next we have the beautiful Brulee, the glassy bronze gold, distinguished by its all gold mirrored packaging. This thing is absolutely gorgeous. So you have all the lit up highlighter sticks here, but I like that they are in different packaging, so I don't necessarily have to look on the bottom. I already know that this is lit, this is the Brulee, and this is Nectar. And Nectar I found to be maybe my favorite out of the 3. Lit up is beautiful. I mean, I love me an opalescent finish, something that's really ethereal. It has beautiful shine, and it's not sticky, which I appreciate. It's very easy to apply, and you see here, it just leaves behind the most beautiful glass skin effect. Nectar is definitely more peachy in undertone, as you probably saw from the swatch, but I do love how it looks on the cheekbones. I think it's just so subtle but beautifully impactful at the same time in regards to, again, creating that glass skin effect, really easy to apply with fingers, super easy to manipulate. It has a really nice glide on the skin, and I'm not one to wear my hair down, so I don't experience the whole, you know, balmy textures sabotaging my hair flow. But despite its radiant finish, this luminous finish, it does dry down some. It doesn't stay tacky at all, which I think is very hard to achieve when you're dealing or not dealing with silicones in your product. They tend to be more emollient, but I think Gucci nailed best of both worlds in trying to achieve that glossy look without the glossy tack, if you will. And Brûlée I applied underneath lid, like just right there, because I think it has more of a bronzier tone to it, probably more suitable for deeper skin tones to wear as a highlighter. But if you're my skin tone, you could probably get away with this as like a blusher moment, right on the cheeks. Nice golden touch to that. And over at Base I applied Nectar again, just so I could get another look at it. And it might look similar to Lit, but I think Lit has a little, again, more of that pink pearlescent shift to it, whereas Nectar I feel is more of an exclusive peachy tone of a highlight. Up next is the Beauty Butter Powder Bronzer. Retails for $75. Comes in two shades. We have here the Coup de Soleil True Matte Terracotta and Soleil Riche Rich Chocolate, which is the one I bought because the first one was out. This is a beautiful compact. I mean, it is heavy, as well as the highlighters, the creamy highlighters. You could chuck this at someone and they're in trouble. That's all I have to say. 0.28 ounces or 8 grams of product. Suggested shelf life of 24 months, probably because it's a powder and doesn't have all the oils in here. It's a true matte bronzer. There is no shimmer or even luminosity to it. There is talc in here, but it's listed as the second ingredient. But you also have mango seed butter, cocoa seed butter. It's like a more upscale Physicians Formula bronzer. It's magnetic, but it's a little hard to open, I have to say. Like, this is very slippery. And I try not to use my nails because I don't want to bring them. Magnetic compact. You have the Westman Atelier logo here etched on the pan, and swatched next to the contour sticks in biscuit and truffle. You see that the shade sits in between the two. The biscuit is very cool, truffle is warmer. I feel like rich chocolate is right in the middle of those two tones. Here I applied with my Chikuhoro Holiday Blush Brush, and I wanted to deliberately apply this powder bronzer on top of what I have already applied, not setting it with powder, just to see how well it moves on top of a creamy product. And I think it was successful in blending on top on this side on biscuit, and then on the other side I applied it on truffle. I do prefer how it looks on truffle simply because I think the undertones are similar. Applying this on top of biscuit I think was a little off, but I still wanted to see what it would do. Maybe ideal if it was the other bronzer shade on top of biscuit. The texture I still think very smooth, and it does have really nice movement. I think it's very easy to apply. It's definitely on the pigmented side, but again, I think it's very silky in feel. And if you feel that bronzer is intimidating, or you feel that you have to get the contour stick or this one, you can do both. But unlike the Physicians Butter Bronzer, this doesn't have any sense, thank goodness. As well as the lit up highlighter stick, as well as the Baby Cheeks blush sticks. But what does have fragrance, unfortunately, which is what I think, besides the Vital Skin Foundation, might be Westman Atelier's star product, is the Super Loaded Tinted Cream Highlighter. We're looking at $75. 3 shades, all packaged in their individual little pouch here. 0.14 ounces of product or 4 grams. Suggested shelf life 18 months. Peau de Pêche, which is the soft pearlized bronze suede. Peau de Soleil, warm bronze gold. And then Peau de Rosé, soft warm rose. Just like the lit up highlighter sticks, these all have different compact designs to distinguish them. My favorite by far is Peau de Pêche. It's distinguished by its all black packaging with like that gunmetal lining, a little easier to open than the bronzer. This is a beautiful product, and the way Gucci likes to use this, she either applies this under the baby cheeks or over the baby cheeks. The first time I tried these products, I applied it on top of everything, and as you see, it leaves behind just a beautiful shine. And if you wanted to blur some of the texture that it could possibly leave behind, I would just lightly dust a loose powder on top of it, because as you see here, you can still see some of the texture on my face, but it doesn't accentuate it further. It just kind of lays on. Again, though, I would highly suggest, if you want a little more blurring, you apply this first and then the baby cheeks and then maybe your powder bronzer afterwards. The first one I demoed is the Peau de Rosé, which is the only one that actually has like glitter specks in there, which I don't mind. It's beautifully shiny. It's a lovely shade, and I placed it here lower on my cheeks, more on top of everything. And again, the glassy skin effect is simply to die for. I didn't record myself doing this. I could probably do this now while I'm filming this video, but I applied Peau de Pêche all over my cheeks, and although it's a highlighter, cream highlighter, it still had enough color to it that it gave my face a light flush of color. And here with the Peau de Soleil, I placed it right over the foundation, and then I applied the bronzer, the powder bronzer on top. So this is a very versatile product. I think it's meant to add luminosity without too much shine and shimmer, not necessarily formulated to apply on the cheekbones like I did initially. I think that role is for the lid up highlighter sticks that have a little more of a glossy finish, whereas a fully loaded cream highlighter is more of a maybe luminous. Is that the difference? Definitely a little more intense in finish, but I like them both ways. I definitely like to apply this over the foundation stick, as I feel it just kind of boosts whatever you choose to apply thereafter, but at the same time, it does not negatively impact the application of those products. It's not going to make the baby cheek stick look splotchy, or it's not going to move anything around. So I believe Gucci intentionally designed these products to be layered successfully on top of each other, especially the powder bronzer, because we are led to believe that you have to apply all cream first and then powder. If you do it reverse, you're in trouble. Not necessarily. A lot of my powder products, I think not only from this brand but from others, have evolved that you can apply cream products on top of powder and it's not going to look splotchy or uneven at all. And here I apply the Peau de Soleil on my lids with the eyeshadow brush, which let me grab how much this brush costs. I believe it's the Eyeshadow II, which is very dense at the base, but it kind of stipples out at the tip. And I use this brush to apply the Peau de Soleil bronze highlighter on my lids, which I thought was really lovely to do. And then I followed with the same brush, applying the powder highlighter more on my crease, just to set the cream highlighter a little bit. Same brush, but now Peau de Rosé on the inner corner, and I lightly sweeped it onto the inner part of my lid to give a little more highlight there. Plopped on some mascara, and the finished look I thought was quite lovely. I look fresh faced. The texture of my skin still appeared smooth, still appeared like itself. On my lips I have the new Chantecaille Lip Chic from their Butterfly collection in Aesop. Beautiful shade. It's a rose. I love it. But of course, anytime you apply a cream something on your lid that's, I think, more suitable for your face, it definitely broke apart on my lids, but that was to be expected. You know, I wasn't thinking it was going to last for 8 hours considering ingredient profile of the fully loaded cream highlighter, but I did like how it looked initially. And if I was in a jam, I would just take my finger, slap on some highlighter on my lids, and call it a day. Now, of course, I don't have anything on my face now, but why don't you come in a little closer? That's enough. This is a Westman Atelier video, but shout out to Sarat for sending me their new shades in their brow pomade, which I'm digging. Again, Vital Skin, Another World. I fully understand that this is not the most ideal way to apply this foundation, but I do want a little bit of coverage from it, so that's why I'm slapping it on the way that I do. But it also has nice spread, so even though you apply it in that fashion, I don't think you're going to overload the skin. In fact, I probably could get away with like 2 swipes of this stuff. Gucci had also suggested that you get 2 shades, but since this foundation is $68, I don't think I'll be doing that anytime soon. So in the meantime, I'm just relying on my Shiseido Gel Stick Concealer. But I could only imagine how beautiful this will look on the under eyes. And to see the baby blender in action, if I wanted more coverage, like around my nose, and this is what Gucci had also suggested, if you're not one to slap on the foundation like I did, that you just take it straight from the bullet and place it on the portions that you need a little more coverage on. Any redness, any pigmentation here. So if I wanted more coverage, I'll just take the smaller brush and slap it on there. And again, just so you can see, I think the baby blender completely and utterly appropriate for some under eye concealing and blending. It's very soft on the skin. Despite it being synthetic, it doesn't feel stabby at all. And because of that, it won't absorb as much product as a natural hair brush would and leave behind just the right amount of product. So you therefore don't have to apply so much in the first place. All right, so this is where we could go in with the fully loaded. I will actually go in fully loaded because I really like how the Peau de Soleil looks on the hollows. So I'm taking my corridor brush straight out from the pan. I'm slapping it on the hollows. So it has really nice sheen to it. And this is the one product that does have fragrance. It kind of reminds me of the Physicians, which is not as overwhelming, but I'm like disappointed. Disappointed, Gucci. It's like all the other products have no fragrance, but when it comes to the fully loaded that you could possibly put a lot on, it has that buttery smell. Ugh. But you see, although it's creamy initially, it's not super emollient. Like, it's not tacky at all. It has a little bit of shine, but it's, again, not overwhelmingly textured or dazzly. For fun, however, let's do Peu de Rosé. On this side, look at this mirror, though. I mean, the construction is simply and utterly exquisite. The Rosé, though, has the sparklies, so if you're not crazy about the sparkly arclies, then don't pick this one. Peau de Pêche is my favorite, definitely. I could apply this all over on my cheeks, and it still kind of looks like I have a flush of color going on there. Really beautiful on the skin. I think it looks nice. It doesn't look overly textured. And then if you wanted, we could go in with baby cheeks in Dou Dou. I actually like to place the shade on the back of my skin first. I think applying it straight from the stick could possibly move the product around. That's why I like to do this instead. So you can still see the Peau de Rosé still shining through, which is what I think Gucci had in mind when formulating it. And the same thing here with the Peau de Pêche, even over the Peau de Soleil. Although I don't have the other shades, Dou Dou I think is lovely. It's not too peachy and like, it's like right in the middle. You know what I mean? And why not? Let's go in with Lit on both sides today, because I did Nectar on one side, but you can see it's more of like an, actually looks more blue on me. Like it has like that UV tint to it on my skin tone. Oh, what the heck? Let's do Nectar. I really like Nectar, so you guys could also see the difference again. Nectar is definitely more exclusively peachy in tone. My skin feels creamy still, but doesn't feel sticky. It doesn't feel heavy, but this is where I would go in with the powder bronzer over everything just to pull the products together. Going in with my Yano Beautylish brush in 02, and it is pigmented, so I like to just brush off the excess. And then over everything, I take it across the cheeks, temples, down the jawline. And you see the powder didn't get splotchy. It didn't catch in a strange way. It flows together nicely with the other cream products in the line. But you know what? I'm actually going to apply Dou Dou on my eyes because I kind of want to see what that does. And using the eyeshadow brush number 2, just whisking that across. It's very lightweight in terms of the color once you blend it out, but I think it pulls everything together, especially if you choose to apply a significant amount on your cheeks. I love Peau de Rosé on the inner corners of my eyes, so I'll go back in with this one because it's particularly beautiful here as inner corner highlight and just to lightly brush on the inner parts of the lid. And I'll take some on my lips also. So this is how it looks without mascara, and I actually prefer this because I think it better emphasizes like that flushed, no makeup, but apparently I'm wearing something, but just enough for you to think it's still me, but with a little bit of help, okay? I will, however, apply some Dark Star. And here's the finished look with mascara. It brightens it up a bit. It makes it a little more daily glam friendly. I love both versions, but ultimately I think what we're focusing on here is the entire complexion, how, again, it still looks soft, it still looks radiant, glassy skin, but not overly cosmetic. It doesn't look like I applied a bunch of makeup on, not like, you know, red carpet glam type of a gig. So I do appreciate its role and how it could fit into me just teaching class, or even if you wanted to go on like a Zoom date with your friends or whoever. Thought maybe we'll go into some quick comparisons. I think many of you are thinking about the Danessa Balm. Here are the comparison swatches from Westman Atelier, the Face Trace Contour in Biscuit and Truffle, followed by Danessa Balm Contour in Light 2, Medium 1, Medium 2, and Medium 3, and the Tom Ford Shade and Illuminate Compacts in Intensity 1 and Intensity 2. As much as I love the packaging for the Westman Atelier, I much prefer the formula from Danessa. It's a little more heavy duty, still blends beautifully well. Let me just say that. It's not hard to blend at all, but it does have more lasting power, and I do prefer the shades in the Balm Contour offering. In terms of the Tom Ford is like so beautifully pigmented but easy to blend too. It's a little more emollient than, dare I say, the Danessa, but I still think a little more long lasting than Westman Atelier. And I think these two shades, although can work for many, still feel there should be more additions to this offering. Now here are some cream blush comparisons. We have Dou Dou from Westman Atelier, nearly neutral vulnerable cream blush, the Natasha Denona mini cheek shade from her originally diamond and blush palette, but now in her mini Love Cheek Duo. We have Magic Hour from Tower 28, Petal Poppin', Crush on Cupid, and Rosé Latte from Fenty Beauty. This still stands alone as its own shade. I don't actually have a shade like this, like Dou Dou, in my cream blush collection, so I rather enjoy it, and I love how it looks on my complexion. It gives me the right amount of flush without looking too overly pink or overly peach. Very much appropriate for an everyday shade that I can rely on to not look overly made up with, but just enough flush to look alive. For the highlighter sticks, here we have Nectar, we have Lit, then we have the Tom Ford Balm that is included in the shade and Illuminate Compact. I think a little more universal than Lit. Lit on me is leaning more like that blue opalescent versus the pink. And then you have the Coup highlighter stick in 102, which is more gold. And it's hard to see here, but this is like the Coup highlighter stick, the universal shade 101 is a clear balm like the one that exists in the Pat McGrath dual stick highlighters. So very similar in that way, but it doesn't have like that iridescent flip like the Lit one does from Westman Atelier. So if you're not crazy about that blue tone, and if you already have the Tom Ford Shade and Illuminate Compacts, maybe that'll be a little better for you. I also have the Surratt sticks in Dior. This is definitely more gold. I'm running out of space. This is definitely more gold. It reminds me of the Coup. And these have diamond powder in them, which makes them a little more shimmery in finish. So if you don't like that shimmer type of a finish, this is the more rose one here. A touch bit more frosty than the Westman highlighters. And regular Diamante, this is like the more neutral tone of the Surratt highlighters, but you see they're a lot more frosty than the Westman highlighters. Westman, I think, definitely more glass skin and finish, where the Surratt has a little more shimmer because of the diamond powder in there. So if you want it more like a twinkle effect than the Surratt highlighters, the Coup ones I feel lay in the middle. The gold tone 102 has a little bit of like that shimmer, but I still think more glassy and finished than the Surratt. And I think I still have some room on this arm with the foundation stick. Again, this is number 9. I think an amazing match, but I know you all think about the Tom Ford, which I wanted to pull up ingredient wise here. I think Tom Ford relies on silicones, which is why it might be longer lasting. It also has a lot more shades to offer than Westman. It still says medium and natural finish like the Vital Skin. It still has kaolin here. Kaolin is listed to be Kaolin is listed to be 1, 2, 3, 4, to be the 5th ingredient, but it doesn't have any heavy duty plant oils, which is why I think people love the Tom Ford for its just skin-like finish, but it's just a lot more long lasting, I feel, than Westman is. That was in 6.5 Sable. I could use as an all over shade, but I thought tawny will bring in a little more warmth. Number 7. Westman Atelier has more warmth than the Tom Ford, but I do love 7 for its more neutral tone, and of course 6.5 has a little bit of brightness there, so I could apply that on the center of my face. But just from the texture alone, you know, the Tom Ford just has a little more grip to it. And again, I think this is so popular because it's a stick foundation, it's creamy, but it has beautiful lasting power. And surprising find, the Huda Beauty Faux Filter Stick. This is in, oh god, Butter Pecan. Butter Pecan, this is definitely more soft matte. This has all the silicones, so if you're not about that life, then, but if you're oily, I think you might consider this formula over the Westman. The Westman, you know, has a lot more plant oils, won't last as long. This one lasts for sure, and I think more appropriate to wear because of its more, again, matte formula. Humid climate, hot, sweaty. I do like the brand. I like the brand philosophy. I like how it's delivered. Do I necessarily feel safer with these products? No, I don't spend this much money on this product and thinking it's going to protect me from whatever ailment is out there. I don't buy into that narrative, but I do appreciate, though, there is an opportunity for those who do, that will have a beautiful luxury experience with clean beauty and clean ingredients. And in terms of what these products are set to deliver, very much aligns with Gucci's vision and how she does makeup. And I think really important to understand anytime you encounter a makeup line created by a makeup artist, to understand where they're coming from, how they do makeup, what their aesthetic is, because most likely they will infuse that into their products, into their formulations, and how they apply makeup. I've often said this about Natasha Denona. The way she applies eyeshadow very much influences how she formulates her eyeshadows, and you can see that clearly with how she applies them in her demos. And when you understand the formulas and what she does, you can then meet in the middle with, you know, how you like to apply your eyeshadows and how she does it, and find a happy medium and get a beautiful eye look. And back to Gucci, like, this is the Gucci look. This is what she wants you to achieve. This is what I think her atelier, if you were in an actual atelier of Gucci's, what she would want you to experience, how she would want your skin to look. But I also think the more important message from watching her tutorials and what have you, and understanding her makeup, is that we're not trying to cover ourselves. We're just giving ourselves a boost, but we also want to apply products on our face that have ingredients that can help the skin, can help improve the skin, benefit the skin. Again, I don't know how far those benefits will go, considering that a lot of these extracts and plant oils are not in the top 5 ingredient list, but she ensured that they have a positive impact on your skin's well-being. If that's the case, then that's great. Especially, listen, if you've been using Westman Atelier for quite some time, since 2019, and you feel or have seen significant improvement in your skin, then brava, that is a great perk. For me, I don't plan to use this makeup every day just to see an improvement in my skin. I look to, again, my nutrition as well as my skincare that I heavily rely on for those said benefits, like cellular turnover, evening out skin tone, and, you know, boosting the lacklusterness of it all. I'm happy about these products. I'll be using them continuously. Of course, we'll be integrating them with my favorite makeup. I'm happy I didn't buy the iPods, because that, you know, I have to cross the line somewhere, fam. They were really expensive, and I do understand the construction and how they're formulated definitely aligns with Gucci's vision, considering how she formulated her complexion products, but I just can't. Her mascara I skipped, as well as her lip gloss. Again, I'm really happy with what I picked out. Maybe I'll pick up 1 or 2 more blushes. I'm really happy with the Baby Cheeks blush stick. I think that's an incredible formula. And despite the fact that the fully loaded creamy highlighter has fragrance, I actually really like that product. I like how I can layer it underneath bronzer, over under blush. It gives the skin really beautiful, just lit from within, like a dewiness without the slicky dewiness. And maybe that's something Gucci wanted to achieve too, because typically dewy type of a makeup, skin like makeup, is not very long lasting, can be very sticky, can feel heavy on the skin. I do think she nailed it. I think she nailed it in terms of these products, despite how much you can layer them, they don't feel sticky or overly dewy, greasy on the skin. So the chemist she worked with, I think, definitely achieved that. Now we have a super luxe brand that is super luxe clean, as they promise. And if that is important to you, and if you want to be a part of that aesthetic, if you feel you want to be in that atelier for real, then you have the opportunity to do so. Let me know if you picked up anything from Westman Atelier, if you've been using them for quite some time, if you're skipping, if you like this product but not so much that product. I'll see you in the comments down below, fam. And until then, that is a wrap. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope this video helped. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and maybe consider subscribing to my channel. And until then, I will see you on here again with another review tutorial, atelier extravaganza, monthly favorites, or nightly live chit chat. Take care, and I will see you again soon.